Hello everyone, welcome to another science video. In today's video, we'll continue chapter number 10, Air and Water. Topic for today is water. Water is essential for our life. Water that we use come from rivers, ponds, lakes, etc. But this water may contain substances that makes it unfit for use. We call it as impurities. Now you can see there's clean water and impure water. The water that we get have certain impurities, though they may not be visible to our naked eyes, but they are there. If you drink this polluted water, then you might have many diseases like dysentery, cholera, jaundice, typhoid. It is therefore very important to make sure that the water we use is clean and free from impurities. Now, impurities in water are of two types. Soluble impurities are the ones that dissolve in water. They are microscopic and not visible to our naked eyes. Salt present in seawater is an example of soluble impurity. The other kind of impurity which do not dissolve in water, like mud, leaves, etc., are called as insoluble impurities. Impure water is unfit for consumption. It is therefore important to purify water to remove soluble as well as insoluble impurities. Now we can use different methods to remove different type of impurities found in water. Let us discuss them in detail. Methods to remove insoluble impurities. Now you know that the first method which we use is sedimentation. Water present in nature often contain insoluble impurities which make it unclean and unfit for use. Soil particles, twigs, animal excreta, all are examples of insoluble impurities. Sedimentation is the method by which we remove these insoluble impurities very easily. Now, in this process, the mixture of soil and water is stirred and left undisturbed for few hours. Then the solid particles start settling down slowly at the bottom of the container. After some time, you'll see that all the mud particles will settle down at the bottom of the container. The process of settling down of heavy impurities is called as sedimentation. It is only when the water is clear that the process of sedimentation is complete. Now, in order to increase the rate of sedimentation, we can use certain chemicals like alum, and we call that process as loading. The solid impurities that settle down at the bottom of the vessel is called as sediments. Now, after sedimentation, you'll see that there will be two layers formed. The water that collect over the layer of impurities formed during sedimentation can be separated by draining it into another beaker by decantation. The process of slowly pouring the clear liquid, leaving the sediments behind, is called as decantation. It is always done after sedimentation. During decantation, it is important to leave behind a small amount of liquid in the container in order to prevent the sediments from flowing out of the container and getting mixed with the clear liquid. So you have to take proper care that sediments do not mix with clean water. Now, during decantation, it is very important to be very careful. Now, after sedimentation and decantation, to remove smaller impurities, we do filtration. Now, straining a tea into a cup is an example of filtration, and we do it with the help of tea strainer. Filtration is a physical process of separating insoluble substances from liquids. Now, different filter papers used are fine cloth, filter paper, and plastic sheets, strainers. These all can be used as filters. Now, liquid containing insoluble impurities is poured into a funnel lined on the inside with a filter paper or a fine cloth to do filtration. The clean water passes through the filter, leaving all the insoluble impurities behind, and is collected in a jar kept below the funnel. The clear water is called as filtrate, and the impurities are called as residue. The filtered water does not contain any insoluble impurities. As the filter paper has small pores on it, the insoluble impurities are left on the filter paper and are called as residue. Boiling the filtrate kills the microscopic impurities in it, such as germs and microbes. So, still, there's no mud, there's no insoluble impurities, but germs are there. So, evaporation is another process which help in removing soluble impurities. Water, when heated up, changes into water vapor, and the process is called as evaporation. Another method is distillation. Distillation is the method of purifying a liquid. The liquid is vaporized, condensed, and collected separately during the process of distillation. Now, generally, it is done in lab. You take impure water in a round bottom flask and it is heated. Or salt water is being heated in a flask. You can see here. The water slowly starts evaporating into water vapors due to the heat. These water vapors, when cool down, they give pure water with salt left behind in the flask. The substance that is left in the flask is the salt. You can see that. And pure water is obtained by the process of condensation. Now, another method of removing soluble impurities is boiling. When water is boiled for around 20 minutes, the germs present in it get killed. And boiling is one of the simplest way to purify drinking water. Boiled water must be stored in clean vessels and bottles so that it can be used later. We must always boil water that is used for drinking purpose, and it should be stored in clean and covered pans and pots. Now, there's another method to purify water is called as chlorination. Now, chlorine tablets are added to water to kill the germs and make the water fit for drinking. Next, we'll talk about water purification system. Now, purification of impure water is done by sedimentation, then filter tanks, then chlorination tank, and then pure drinking water. You can see in this diagram the whole process. I hope you have understood the whole topic. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.